Hey folks, it's Albert again. This week on MoCoS2E15, I'm going to talk about the place where I grew up, the Thousand Islands. I'm going to give you the whole history of this place and me in it. So stick around, I'll be back in a second to tell you all about it. You've heard of more cowbell. Well, this is MoCoS2E15. So this place is at the top of New York State. It is where the Lake Ontario goes into the St. Lawrence River. It flows up north to the Bay of St. Lawrence and New Brunswick. Goes out there where all the whales are in the North Atlantic. Before the Europeans came, the Indians called this place Land of the Gods. I think it was a very appropriate name. When the white man came, of course they figured they were superior mathematically, so they called it the Thousand Islands. Too bad, it's not really a Thousand Islands. They got it wrong. But this place is so preserved and so clean and pure that at night, when it's dark, you can see all the stars in the sky. You can see the Milky Way. It looks like the Milky Way. It looks like a milky sky of stars. And you know how they say 1,000 stars in the sky? Well, there's really not 1,000. There's really like an infinite number. So once again, we got it wrong. I was born in Watertown, which is about 30 miles away from here, and I lived in a little town called Clayton for the first 5 years of my life. And during that time, my father purchased this plot of land, I don't know, for like $200 or something from my Uncle Bill, who was a real estate guy. So anyway, my dad bought it from him. My grandmother made my father put all his radio equipment in this little shed out in back of their house that he built with his brother Joe. And when he bought this piece of land, he put that shack on a trailer and moved it down to this piece of property. And that was when I was 2 years old, 1949. My brother was 6 months old. And we stayed here. We would come in the summertime, and we would spend days and days over here. And then we went to Greece. My father got a job in Greece. We went there, and we were only there for a year, and then we came back. When we came back, the first place we came to was this shack, or this place, this cottage over here. We were still calling it the Radio Shack at the time. But, and so my dad built an extension on the back of it where he put 2 little rooms. There was 4 of us, and so my sister slept in the crib with my mother and father, and us 3 boys slept on the other side in some bunk beds and a cot or something. I can't remember exactly. We had an outhouse. When we came back from Greece, we lived in Rochester for a year. Then we came back to the North Country, where my dad bought a farm, and we stayed here until I went away to college, and eventually went to Chicago to play with Jeff Latham, and then to Long Island we played with Don Rose, who was known as Buck Dharma. When I was here, my brother Joe and I had a high school band, and we played dances. We played, for 4 years in high school, we probably played 200 shows, 50 shows a year, about that. We played block parties. For the last 2 years of high school, we tore out the walls in the barn, and every weekend we would play, every weekend in the summer, June, July, and August, we would play in our barn, and we had hundreds of people come from all over the place. All my friends, they still talk about the barn dances, so it's a fun thing to do. This was a place where a lot of firsts happened for me. Like the first time I was ever stung by a bee, or bitten by a mosquito, or bitten by an ant, or bitten by a snake. I got bitten by a lot of stuff here. So it really taught me about life and life in the world and out in nature. This island that you see behind me here, this is called Hen Island. I don't know, there's probably some Indian name for it too, I'm sure, but I don't know what that is. Over here you have a buoy that warns people about rocks. There's the shoal that goes out there. That is pretty much the end of the United States, and Canada is all the rest, everything else that you can see. Islands. Over here we have Gananoque, that's way in the distance. You can see the city over there, the little town. It's really not much larger than Clayton, but a beautiful little village. The nearest big town from here is Kingston, which is about 20 miles up the river that way. This is Wellesley Island. It is the second largest island in the St. Lawrence River. The largest is Wolf Island. It's a beautiful area. Up until the 40s or 50s, this was the vacation spot for people who lived in New York City. Of course, it was because there was no air conditioning, so the city would get very hot. It's always temperate here. There is a lot of wind. There are tour boats that go up and down the river. They go on this side, they go on the other side, the American side. This is the Canadian side. They also go on the American side. They go all over the river. They go through the secret, the Devil's Gate and all of this stuff over there where the pirate Don Johnson used to hang out. And that's a big, every year in Alexandria Bay, they have a pirate weekend. It's quite entertaining. People dress up like pirates and they have boat races and all kinds of fair type of deals. Entertainment, you know, lots of music going on that weekend, and it's a fun thing. That's a big event up here, I guess. My dad used to work for a tour boat where I don't know what he did. He helped a guy who played the banjo and was a guide or something, I don't know. But then he would take us around and show us where everything was. And now my brother Pat's kind of taken up that mantle, and if anybody comes here, he takes them out in his boat, which right now he just was having it fixed. You know how it is with boats. But anyway, so he would take them out and show them all the sights, you know, the Singer Castle and the Canadian Tire Mansion, and all this kind of stuff. You know, there's lots of amazing looking structures. We're just going. Okay, that's it. I'm done. I'm done standing there. I'm gonna climb up on the dock here and finish my my vlog. That's the end of today's episode. That's all I have for this week. So remember, if you haven't already, subscribe and leave comments below. See you next week. Bye.